at least with the it goes both ways. Like you can kill the puck, but puck can kill you. But at the same time, if you're playing against a puck and you have no way to kill puck, game is pretty screwed.
For sure. Yeah, it's just I think he's going to be able to have a lot of impact just because he's so comfortable and good on the hero. But yeah, Talon can kill him. Talon can definitely still play their game.
I mean, they've got Void too. Like, it's definitely not a free puck game, but you needed that kind of catch and control. So we'll see what they feel the carry option is going to be. And we'll get an idea of what Talon think counters the Void here, as well as maybe if offlane Alk, assuming they don't think it's offlane Alk, they're banning offlaners here. Not Stalker ban.
I would actually honestly go as far to say that I think Alk is very much answered now. Knowing that it's not a carry, where it will get like lesser gold priority. RSG have run this lineup a lot. You look at the team fight they have, and it is impossible to deal with until they have BKBs, and even then it's still kind of rough because like you look at this, the coil, then they have the fear on top of it, which is going to make you all snap the coil, and then you have a BKB piercing like AoE Golem on top of that like covers their cores. So whatever their carry pick is on RSG, this hero is probably going to get like saved so many times just by like the amount of like fear Golem that lets the carry kind of engage freely in the fight.
Yeah. Also the Marcy for the puck coil. Like this is a pretty good puck game. It just feels like they need a carry to dish out some damage here. Ban Bristle.
Yeah, what do I want? Like they banned Wraith King last game.
That's what, I was thinking the same thing. Like that's what the traditional Void counter is.
Yeah, but I don't think they need to pick it because of how much save they have on RSG and like team fight that will cover the carry. Like you don't need to rely on like having 2 lives to tank.
I do like that. I mean, I do like the idea of a still fairly tanky carry that can survive a Chronosphere, for example.
Yeah, they could still like Terrorblade even.
Yeah, that sounds solid.
Yeah, and then Talon, they're going to decide whether Alk's going support or offlane right now.
10 seconds.
Maybe they want like some low cooldown stun, like a DK, but I personally like... Personally, I would be fine with them putting Alk as a core and then just picking like another support. Maybe they could pick... I keep coming back to Abaddon, but I actually genuinely think it's so good against the heroes RSG like to play. Or maybe more damage. Like even Skywrath again would be really good for them. Like the ult into the Chrono. Yeah, for Talon, I think it would be good. You can have like the silence for puck. You can rotate on the mid lane really easily. You have the ult for the Chronosphere. If this is like a offlane Alk, like Sky and Snap can both like you want a range support to lane with your Alk and your Faceless Void.
Radiant team pick.
Ooh, that's kind of spicy.
Interesting.
That's hella spicy. Q loves his Spirit. He's really good.
Maybe he's like, if we're gonna guarantee ourselves major, let's do it in style.
I mean, directly addressing the puck. You know, you go back. This is a hero that can cause puck problems.
10 seconds.
I definitely don't mind this at all. It's very aggressive, and it's a hero that I think can match the early tempo from RSG. Like we saw RSG, they love to rotate. They want to make lots of plays. And I think Earthspirit's just this very mobile hero that like a TP in, you can very quickly get in and join the fight. It gives Talon a way to make plays, but I do think it's maybe being picked up more to react to the RSG aggression.
Do you feel like it gets shut down at all by anything on RSG's lineup? And is it something that they really need to directly address?
For the Earthspirit?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes like these BKB carries a bit stronger because you always want BKB into the Earthspirit. Like your Jugs, your Life Stealers, but not sure those are really the RSG kind of flavor.
He just gets in their face, the Earthspirit. Like, they have so much to deal with. They're going to have Void Spirit jumping their backline. They're going to have Earthspirit just rolling into the middle of everything. And then on top of that, they have to think about like how to engage with that and how not to then get Chronosphered.
He's back. We get the Bloodseeker. They stopped picking this. I'm not really sure why. I would love to kind of hear from them a bit, but yeah, they kind of went away from Bloodseeker, and we finally get to see again. This was start of this tour. They were picking this every game. So
it is back for potentially the last game of this tour, but we're going to bring in Mike and John. Hopefully this time Mike is able to actually give us some thoughts about the draft instead of just holding up his head. Hello, we can hear you.
Hello.
So what a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you so much. Man. Look, these Talon, they started off with a greedy mid. Now they've got a greedy draft. I mean, this is way too greedy on their end of things. I think RSG has this one in the bag. They've got great team fight. They've got great snowball, great tempo. There's no way Talon wins this game number 2. Literally no way.
Absolutely no way. Is that right, John?
No.
You gonna rip off
This
your
is
shirt,
KP on
bro?
the Alk. Yeah, of course. Here it is.
Oh.
Talon jerseys up there.
It's like Superman, but
No,
Talon.
are you going to rip off the other shirt? Is what
Yeah,
the viewers
it's all
the viewers really want you to rip off the other shirt, John. Please.
No, we're not doing that. But KP Alk, we've seen this on his time in SMG. They used to run it with Venge. They don't quite have the minus armor combo, but this is still something that KP should be comfy on, and I think Talon should be able to play around it.
Okay, then would you like to quickly say which team you're going here, Sheep Gods?
I've kind of fallen off of the Mike train, so I'll have to go with
What?
Talon. I'm sorry, Mike. Your prediction was wrong last game, bro.
I go whichever way the wind blows as well, and it's sorry.
I stand by
Fallen
my
Prophet.
prediction. I stand by RSG. It's going to happen. I got you, Mike. Don't worry. But what else is going to happen is this game number 2 between RSG and Talon.
Oh, thank you so much, Nat, for actually believe. John, I explained my situation earlier. I was held up. I was under. What's the word I'm looking for here, Jonathan? I was under
Duress?
distress.
Duress,
Distress, Jonathan.
yes.
Well, kind of arrest. These panelists make fun of me for apparently making the wrong prediction. I was never wrong, Jonathan. I always believed in Talon for game 1. You know that.
Of course you did, Mikey. Well, we'll let nothing happened there in game 1. Well, I'll believe you. I'll let it pass. It is duress, by the way, Mike. That's under
Duress.
pressure of violence or threat. Yes, very lovely word, not
Hold on a minute.
frequently used.
What's
No?
Savage saying? Boyfriend? Who's boyfriend?
Best friend, KP and Roger, right? They used to be in the same team. SMG.
Well, he said boyfriend, John. I'm wondering
Best
whose
friend.
boyfriend's here.
Best friend.
All
Yeah, right?
All
Boyfriend?
right.
Oh, I mean Savage said boyfriend. I don't know. He's just making fun. You know?
All right.
Savage is being cheeky.
Fair enough.
Look at this
Talon?
clump up.
Yeah, pretty big clump up here on that staircase, and they're gonna see him. They're gonna move right in with the blood right out. Q in a bit of trouble as the Bramble Maze gonna connect as well, and that'll be first blood to go the way of Zhao Yu once again. Second game in a row, Zhao Yu has secured first blood on that offlane Marcy. Game 1 it didn't work out. Game 2 we'll see if it does.
Yeah, just a great start to have. Just need to see if that investment in Xiao Yu will pay off, whether or not he changes his itemization here. It's going to be a big factor to watch out for as well. Might as well take a look at the bot lane while we're here, as we do have Roger again on that Warlock. Laning around with MKS on the Bloodseeker. They are up against KP on his Alchemist, which we haven't seen in a while, and Q on his Earth Spirit, which we also haven't seen for a while. Mike, you and I were having a chat about this draft earlier on, right? Like, we saw the Alch, we were shouting for the Venge. I was yelling like an idiot for the Venge to come out to take us back to old SMG. Doesn't come out. We do have the Earth Spirit, and I said, it's not that much of a meme. You said this is a meme. Tell me why Earth Spirit's a meme, Mike.
It's just a meme, John. I mean, Q's a great Earth Spirit player, don't get me wrong. But look at this, John. What's he going to do in this lane? Well, KP, if he gets active, it could be a different story. In fact, now Roger going to be chased down a little bit. But if KP doesn't play aggressive with Q, does the Earth Spirit do anything, John? I don't think so.
It does have a rotation potential onto the mid. The panel pointed out very good against the puck. It doesn't quite play in with the minus armor that we used to see Alchemist go for. Unstable concoction, acid spray, huge amounts of laning nuke damage. Not quite there for Q in this game, so we'll see. They do manage to get the creep pull away, but so does MKS, and should stabilize back in the lane anyhow. This KP gonna be focusing on that farm. So the aggression doesn't look like Talon's gonna be looking for it with this kind of duo. Gonna opt to just farm up, and that should be a very comfy lane for MKS to keep his own farm game going.
Well, how's that mid lane going? Xylone and Makoto were just having a ganner at them earlier on, and it seems like for now, Makoto's having a very nice start to his laning phase here on the Void Spirit. In fact, hold that thought, because bot lane MKS gonna try and get a little bit aggressive, but gonna be able to hold Q in the blood right, so he's gonna be just fine. Meanwhile, top lane, Hyde ends up going down as Zhao Yu, able to pick up his second kill of the game already. It's like they aren't able to pick up the Void, but Hyde's just as good for now, and it's another, once again, great start here for Zhao Yu. So it doesn't seem like there's too much slowing him down in the Marcy so far.
Yeah, they can just get really aggressive early on up top, right? Like you've got a lot of stuns coming in, you've got great range in Xiao Bonbon to trade, you've got the Shadow Realm to kind of dip away. The mid lane has also been kind of going a bit back and forth. We've seen the Puck Void Spirit multiple times. It does feel like this is something that is reliant on Mikado maybe landing that Atrium out to get a couple of right-click harassments. Otherwise, Xylone will just find farm. Again, this one's pretty important to find that early level 6 on mid. We'll see who does get that EXP. I think this time around you do have good rotations from the Sports, although getting aggressive top.
They certainly are, but they don't go for the dispose on anyone. Everyone's going to be just fine top lane. It's kind of just a bit of a threat towards Savage and Hyde, and I think the idea is you want to catch Hyde on the Snapfire, because Savage, he's always just going to be able to time walk away, assuming it's not off cooldown, of course, and well, if you don't catch Hyde, it just feels like there's no point trying to go for the chase. And speaking of, Xiao Yu, he tunnel visions right onto the Snapfire, and they should have him. Hyde, cookies away, does not get rooted up in the brambles. He's actually fine, but Xiao Bonbon with the Shadow Realm damage, able to get it done in time. Talon losing that Snapfire once again.
Yeah, just not much they can really do to counterplay. Savage doesn't have the value point in time lock, so in for right clicks, his output isn't that high. At the very least, you're not losing your Faceless Void, and he is still farming somewhat fine, but he is lagging behind in comparison to MKS. So they're managing to do a great job of suppressing that Void's early timings, suppressing that build-up into the Mjolnir, or at least into the Maelstrom that we know Savage loves to build into, and just stall out in that farming pace that we saw Savage hit in Game 1. So RSG are lining up very nicely to hit an earlier spike on their Bloodseeker. This is a hero that can get really aggressive. KP can't really stop that. It's an off-lane Alk. It doesn't really play aggressive if you don't have that minus armor strat going.
Absolutely not. KP, I mean, at least he's going to be able to keep his farm going. And I mean, speaking of KP, John, what is the idea with this Pos 3 Alchemist? Like, what does it actually do? What kind of item builds are you meant to go for? Like, what's the idea here? In fact, hold that thought, because mid lane, Xe Learn. I mean, the spot of danger, Q off the mark with the roll there. Still lands the boulder smash in time, and Xe Learn orbiting away, eating that water and going for the bottle charges. Chase is going. Is the Aether Remnant now going to be juked out? Xe Learn doing so good so far as Roger is going to show up and try to heal him up, and he does do so. The Shadow Word is there in time. Makoto now, he's the one in danger. Xiao Bonbon can't hold him down. In fact, never mind, he can. He just got the mana in time. Makoto, though, is still going to be fine to walk away, I think. He does get Shadow Worded up. A lot of damage being dealt. He'll be forced to Fairy Fire and just keep trying to run, but the Shadow Realm is now coming in. Makoto, they just need the vision, and they've got it. The chase, it ends up paying off here for RSG. And it was really a team effort to keep Xe Learn alive and then turn it right back onto the Void Spirit.
And that's a great use of your time. Again, slowing down that mid that Ohio did point out is the source of momentum for Talon. You are opening up the side lanes. I think in this case, you're actually pretty all right with that. You have really greedy side laners here from Talon. You want your Alchemist to start farming up real quick. You want your Void to get that build up into the Maelstrom, get some early leveled solo. So you're still finding something for Talon. Your Void Spirit timings will be stalled. The Yulet's timing for Mikado is going to feel a little bit more awkward. The puck is going to hit level 6 faster.
Top lane, Brambles does connect onto Savage, but he's going to be okay. Had the stick charges, is able to just kind of walk away and tango himself up thanks to Hyde. They've even got the Q Earth Spirit around here if they want to try and pursue some sort of a kill. No vision from RSG to scout that one out yet. In fact, Xiao Bonbon, he's leaving the area, which could be really, really just terrible timing, as Xiao Yu now surrounded. He's going to get cookied into a roll. Though oh, what a rebound. Wait, hold on a minute. He got hit with the stun, but he's still able to rebound?
Yeah, that looked pretty funky.
And you're telling me Earth Spirit doesn't need a buff, John? That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, definitely doesn't, Mike. You know, you can't have anything in your life.
It's cookie.
It's just how it
is there onto Xiao Bonbon. They might at least find a Dark Willow for their trouble, but for now, Shadow Realm going to be enough. Roll is off the mark. Q, he'll go for a chase. Xiao Bonbon not going to get the Roshan denial he wanted. But my god, was he close, as now Xe Learn. He wants to try and punish Q for this. Q's going to be just fine to walk away. Doesn't seem like they were comfortable committing the Dream Coil. No, Xe Learn may have just been out of range for it anyway, and with that, Q is going to be just fine. Though I can't say the same for Savage here, John. The puck is incoming. Coil is there to lock him down. Xiao Yu there to help out with the damage, and they've got him. Savage going to end up dropping here as a very nice rotation from Xe Learn. Ends up paying off in the end.
And they're keeping Savage down by a huge amount. He's not able to get as much farm as he'd want. So much aggression up top. And despite that opening up the bot lane for KP, it's not like he can really do much about the Bloodseekers. So you're still finding wins all across the map for RSG, slowing down that pace that Talon wants to bring out. 2k lead for RSG early on. This could hurt Talon. Because, again, you look at their draft, it's an offlane Alchemist, it's a safe lane, faces Void. They want some farm, they want some build-up. Mikado
Yeah, mid lane, Roger. He's just going to drop Makoto. Able to go for a very easy pickup as Roger, I think, was going on a bit of a warding run there and it's going to end up sacrificing his life. But now top lane, Savage again in a spot of danger. Problem is the Brambles are not going to connect. But John, you kind of compare these position ones right now. MKS, he's having a very free laning stage on that Bloodseeker. The same cannot be said for 23 Savage on the Void Spirit, or rather the Faceless Foot.
Yeah, it's a slower start for Savage. That's going to allow MKS to play a lot more aggressive. The Rupture is going to be huge in these fights. They've got great combinations with the Blood Right. Dream Coil, Brambles are there to hold the area. And they find Hyde.
They do. Coil is going to snap eventually. Hyde, and he can still try to cookie up to the high ground, but Learn already ready for it. He's going to follow him down with the Scatter Blast. It does slow him down a little bit, but not quite enough to slow down RSG. They'll get Hyde once again, and John Hyde, third kill of the game already onto that Snapfire. Not a great feeling for him.
He's just not able to really get aggressive. There's no hero to play aggressive around outside of Mikado, and you're still waiting for that Void Spirit to maybe pick up an item or two first. At the very least, maybe a Yules. So they can't quite play around any sort of momentum. They're even doing a great job of tracking KP's farm. Not able to flash farm the jungle by himself. Great wards to watch this from RSG. KP, by the way, Mike, is going for Ags.
Wow.
So looking to gift the early Ags out, maybe onto Mikado could be big. Savage not the best. If you're trying to be funny, Q could be hilarious, but I don't think that's worthwhile.
Well, why not, John? MKS bot lane, he's going to drop. Makoto, that's a very important kill being picked up from the Void Spirit. Why can't Q get the Ags, John? You're telling me Earth Spirit Ags isn't any good?
I mean, you know, there's value in it. I guess Stone Form pullback and kick away is great, but...
Don't lie. You know it's crap.
No, I mean, we've seen some great Earth Spirit Ags come out. Great saves coming out, great ways of bailing out as the Earth Spirit after an initiation. It's actually pretty good. I just don't think it's picking an Alchemist off lane to rush Ags for this hero kind of good. So, probably not.
Savage.
We'll see who KP gifts it to.
Top lane. We'll go for a bit of a fight onto Savage. Zhao Yu, he's really committing for this. Problem is they have Chrono up and available, so Savage, he's just going to pop it. Meanwhile, KP does drop down a bot lane, but Zhao Yu, he's still in big trouble up the top side, though he is going for a bit of a run. And Savage has not got a hold of him yet, but Q right on target. Rolls right into the Marcian. At the very least, they do trade evenly. Is in mid lane, Roger now in a spot of danger himself, as Makoto still thinking about going for a chase, but now Hyde's going to show up. Learn. That's going to be enough for him on the puck. He'll back his way out. Very kind of action-packed game already between these two teams. And well, at least for now, it is still favoring RSG, John. Very slight net worth lead. There is a kill score advantage as well on their end of things. And well, Talon, to be fair, they aren't very far behind either. Makoto.
They're Stone.
Yeah, he's going to be all right. They couldn't trap him up in the Bramble Maze. Going to be just fine.
But they're ready for the push here on RSG. They've got the Golem. They've got everything they could ask for. Dream Coil is still on a bit of a cooldown.
Zhao Yu, rebound, not going to connect, but the roll in from Q is still a nice Golem being dropped, and now the Magnetize connecting on absolutely everybody. Zhao Yu is gone. Savage, who are we chasing? The Terrorize, it's going to connect. In fact, the Bedlam, Xiao Bog Pog trying to fight back, but Savage, he's going to be just fine. Is Learn still going, still trying to run, but the chase is on Makoto. He's right behind him. Another great kill here for Talon. Zhao Bon and Roger forced the back with the tail between the legs. And Talon, I mean, even with this greedier draft, they still group up, just so confidently forcing the fight. It just shouldn't be happening.
It definitely doesn't feel like it should be. Like, they're still managing to play off the back of Mikado's mobility really well. RSG don't manage to get the spell use I think they're looking for. Again, Dream Coil was down for a few more seconds. They didn't have MKS fully around to really drop Blood Right to slow down that aggression with a Rupture. So the mobility of Talon just kicks in anyway. And this is detracting from the farm time of Talon. Like, they are still lagging behind. If you look at MKS, he's above by a good margin. 1.2k above Savage on the Faceless Void, and way beyond everyone else. But all the other cores are evenly farmed between RSG and Talon. So the only outlier is MKS, and that puts Talon on still quite an even footing. It doesn't feel great when you have an Alk that isn't that far ahead, but this is also still an off-lane Alk going for Ags. So it's still all about utility. It's all about more than likely enabling Mikado to hit that earlier timing and threaten with the upgrade. And we'll just have to see if that investment pays off. It does feel like RSG still has the early momentum here. Like, if they hit the 15-minute mark, 20-minute mark, when MKS is going to have his BKB up, he's going to feel great.
Top lane. Q's not alone here, John. Roger. Oh no, Q, he's just fine. Zhao Yu now, the one surrounded. Makoto gonna hold him down with the 8th of Remnant, and Zhao Yu, he's gonna keep trying to fight back, but there's no fighting. Talon, they'll take him down. Meanwhile, mid lane though, a very nice dream core here from XE Learn. Onto the Void, but another Chrono. Savage gonna try and fight back, but the Terrorize, it's gonna connect in time. Still the runaway, but the Brambles gonna lock him down. Savage in big trouble, is gonna drop. They even found KP on the Alchemist. Hyde, Makoto trying to turn this one. Rupture is there though, MKS, he might be able to keep this one going. Dissimulate away, but Makoto still in big trouble as the Rupture is still ongoing. Still trying to survive through this, but he just can't. An ultra kill for Exilon into a rampage. The man who started it puts a lid on it as well. RSG really giving it back the way of Talon. And now it feels like they've got themselves a nice spike to keep this aggression up.
That's what we needed to see from RSG. Play around as 5, play around with those combinations you have with the Dream Coil and the Blood Riot, have the Rupture to slow down that mobility the Talon wants to bring out on their Void Spirit, on their Earth Spirit as well, and just punish them. Like, Talon, when in a 5v5, only really have Chrono. Maybe you could argue Magnetize is pretty big. Beyond that, they have nothing to really tie it in. Whereas RSG has so much more teamfight in this kind of draft. And Talon will still need to farm up. Like, our investment in Yalk isn't showing up yet. Savage is still trying to work onto a BKB. These are key timings that it almost feels like they can't really play without these items now, especially that BKB on Savage. Like, you just see the Dark Willow does so much work, the Fear, the Brambles coming out, the magic damage they pump out with the Shadow Realm, it all rips that Faceless Void apart.
Big team fight incoming. Hyde, Q, run into the side of RSG. Now with the Rupture out, they've got Q on the Earth Spirit. Kick away, but it's not going to help Q whatsoever. MKS, he'll have his way with them as Hyde. Not going to get out either. Zhao Bon able to set up with the Tumbler's Toy and get the vision as mid lane. Oh, they've got the Alchemist now. KP, he's also been caught out. RSG, just no need to slow down with their draft. They can keep this going. In fact, they'll go right into the Roshan pit.
And they've got the damage for it. Yeah. They've got a lot of buffs they can throw out onto MKS. It doesn't take too long to rip through that Rosh. Talon, they don't quite have Chrono up and Savage. Again, they are lacking team fight to jump in unless Q maybe finds the angle on his Earth Spirit, and that's easier said than done, especially onto something like MKS, who's been really on point through the Ruptures. 4K lead for RSG. Talon playing on the back foot, still have to find a way to stall this game out, try to hit that Ag's timing at the least on KP, which is coming out in 800 gold. So you have a power spike lined up, but you have to deal with these 2 lives.
Walk away from Zhao Bon, who does go for the Terrorize. Like you said, Roshan does go the way of RSG as MKS does pick it up. And this Bloodseeker, I mean, he's going to pick up a BKB soon, and that's when things get really darn scary. So you've got no real great way of controlling the BKB Bloodseeker apart from Chrono. And even then, I just don't think Savage has enough damage right now without the Mortimer's Kisses. Spot lane, XE Learn looking to set up. Does chip away at KP for a little bit, but won't fully commit. Not quite yet. Talon are around and ready to fight if necessary. RSG. Looks like all they want to do is just keep protecting that bot tier 1 tower. They're not going to let Talon take it for themselves. They'll defend for now, and Talon with their own draft, it just doesn't seem like they're willing to force a fight at the moment. They are definitely playing towards the later stage of the game here.
Yeah, they want to stall out. Look at RSG. They smoke up, invading the triangle. Talon immediately backed off. Got a good read. And, not giving any of those openings out to RSG. I believe they did smoke under ward vision as well in the bot lane. So they get to avoid for a little bit longer, but there's still the threat of Aegis here in MKS. They could try to force the fight into a high ground push. And with all the team fight spells ready in RSG, there's no reason to back off.
That's a great jump in from XE Learn. Right onto 2 targets. There goes Hyde immediately. Makoto, he's not making it out either. Brambles will lock him down. XE Learn, he's not happy after that game 1 here, John. Already 7-1-5 on the puck, and again, just another fantastic initiation from this man.
Yeah, just getting all the work done for RSG off the back of that puck. They're lining up for KP down bot here.
They are. KP pop the Chemical Rage, and they actually missed the Terrorize anyway, so KP is going to be just fine to walk out of there. Does now have the first Ags upgrade up. What's your prediction, John? Just Makoto gets it on the Void Spirit. In fact, hold that thought, because mid lane, There's going to be a bit of a chase onto Learn, but he's going to be fine to get himself out of there. And it does seem like Makoto should be getting this first Axe Blessing as, well, KP, he'll hold out for now.
Yeah, so your investment is there. You're going to get a nice gold injection onto the Void Spirit. The AoE silence is going to be big. And now Talon might be able to play aggressive off the back of that upgrade on Makoto. We've seen him play with his timing before. Talon has a huge deficit to work against, though. And they still have to buy a ton of time out for Savage to hit his BKB into more itemization to do some good damage. You do have some other chrono combinations. It's not just the kisses. Acid Spray can boost up your Void's DPS by a good amount because of the minus armor. It's not particularly amazing, but it can help the cause. Still, RSG, they still hold on to Aegis for 2 minutes here, Mike. They can still just take a fight, go onto a tier 2, and start to threaten high ground if you're not too careful on Talon's end.
Mid lane, MKS just so confident on the Bloodseeker right now. Nothing to be afraid of. Could just keep going for that tier 2 mid tower, and well, it's up to Talon to try and force a fight here. Very strong position from RSG. And they've got great counter initiation as well, as they do make the jump in. Aether Remnant will lock him down. They just want that Aegis Life taken out, and in fact they might have it, but not quite. Hyde's gonna drop, and MKS is gonna survive as Zhao Yu. He'll go for a bit more. He won't find anyone. Sad days for Talon though, John. MKS, he holds on to the Aegis.
And they don't manage to get the burst. They do force out the Golem out from Roger, so you don't have to worry about that massive team fight spell in the next fight. But that's still a tier 2 being taken by RSG. They're more than happy. They could swing around bot here. Lane is shoved in if they wanted to go for it. And it still feels like Talon's not ready. They've got the jump potential in Mikado. That's only one hero that's jumping in, really. You might get assistance out from Hyde, and maybe Q rolls in, but that's it. The other cores just aren't set to go yet.
They aren't. And especially Savage on that Void just really starting to fall behind now. And MKS just continuing to just snowball out of control here on this Bloodseeker. And you think, especially once he has the Gleipnir up on this Bloodseeker, things get even more challenging because you've got so many ways of just holding down Talon. You've got the Brambles and that Gleipnir to come.
KP.
Zhao Yu, he'll try to make a jump in. Won't find anyone. Meanwhile, KP mid lane. Yeah, he's just going to drop on his own terms. Exilern and Zhao Bon are able to take him out.
He buys some space, though. That's the puck not being in any sort of aggressive position to go further on the map. They have to pop the Dream Coil to lock in KP as well. KP is actually going for a secondary axe.
Of course.
So, I mean, he's going all in on what is typically a pause 4, pause 5 Alchemist kind of build. So, maybe just understanding that, you know, Q usually plays a little bit greedier in that 4, so allow him to play like the actual core on the Earth Spirit, or like a semi-core going for the BKB. Speaking of Q.
Yeah, he gets caught out. Zhao Yu is going to be there. Block will be rolled, but Exilern, he'll show up, and Q eventually, I think, will just drop here on the Earth Spirit as they even whip him up with the Bullwhip and just take him out. No need for coil. Another great setup here from Zhao Yu and Exilern. For Q. A very rough time, John. Just trying to work on towards that BKB, but it's still a whiles away to have that on the Earth Spirit.
It's going to take some time. And again, that's been the name of the game for Talon. They went with an ultra greedy draft. They need a lot of time to get this online. You might have an opportunity to play around a Chrono, though. No Aegis up on MKS.
Ooh, Savage. He thought about it, but then thought better of it. He does get the rotations. TPs were coming in from RSG, so they certainly reacted very quickly to that attempt at the Chrono, but nothing to come out here. Talon maybe just not feel like it's worth it, or maybe feel like they don't have the damage.
They still don't have the build-up they'd want on Savage. Outside of that Ags on Mikado, there's not been much progression on itemization. They will go for a smoke play here in Talon, though. Maybe look for a flank, but RSG's fairly clumped up, and the rest of them are playing up top, way too far for Talon to swing around into.
Yeah. Oh, Sharp on pot. Kind of getting pushed there, but never mind that, because the smoke is in mid lane. Makoto and Hyde looking to set up. Finding nobody, though. They've got to run all the way towards the top lane. Exilern and Zhao Yu, they're quite mobile as well. Kind of need that Chrono to really land to be able to get this kill, I think. Korea's going to scout at it anyway. Xiao Yu. He did stick around, so Makoto's going to try and force a fight, but Xiao Yu has his BKB up into the coil. Makoto in a bit of danger. Savage not able to find the chrono either as Xiao Yu takes down Makoto. Onto Savage they go. They want the Void, and they've got the Void. RSG, so much confidence in this game number 2. They'll even find Hyde on the high ground, and eventually will take him out. No problems here for RSG. It's MKS with a double kill now on the Bloodseeker. And that'll be the top tier 2 tower to drop.
Yeah, no fight coming out from Talon. No Aegis to protect for a high ground push, but they're fairly well farmed on RSG. 10k lead, 11k lead. Huh?
Gets rooted up. Terrorize will land. Exilern will be there to back up Xiao Bonbon. KP, he is really not that tanky. He'll try to go for a bit of a TP out, but no, the Yule Scepter. Gonna lock him down there from Xiao Bonbon, and eventually KP is just gonna drop to the support Dark Willow. Great setup there from Xiao Bonbon, and in the meantime, top lane was just being forced in by MKS. They're just everywhere.
Oh. Yeah, they're just being so aggressive. They know how much they can do once Talon's splitting up. And again, their group up here from Talon just doesn't feel amazing either. It's only Chrono, only really Magnetize coming out from Q. I am still wondering what's up with KPO. Like, what happens with the secondary Ags? Is it just going to Savage, so he has the AoE stun? That could be like a little bit more teamfight control for them to play with the Shard on Savage as well. Their map is shrinking way too hard though. Like the farm output now for Savage is going to be cut off by a huge amount. He's not safe in his own jungle, and RSG is just playing so well. They're playing around their timings. They know Talon wants to play a longer game. They're not allowing that longer game to come out.
Oh, Xiao Yu. Great setup. On a Q once again. He'll try for a roll away, but it's going to be blocked off by Xiao Bonbon, and eventually they'll have the damage. They won't go for any more quite yet, but they just show off the Gleipnir of MKS. And again, John, this item's going to cause a lot of problems for Talon, I think. It's even top lane, Xiao Yu having a look around for 23 Savage, but he does manage to TP out. Exilo won't find him either. Again, I think with the position RSG's in, with a 13k advantage and the itemization they have, Talon, they've got to be just so careful now. Mid lane, Xiao Bonbon going to be targeted. Mortimer's Kisses are expended to try and attempt this kill, and oh, they're not even finding him. Eventually they do. In fact, they even rolled into Xiao Yu, but he's just going to be just fine to just fight back here on the Marcy. In fact, it'll be a trade now. Support for support.
Yeah, you're not too upset about that if you're RSG. Cut off the Earth Spirit, cut off the one other mobile hero. Now Talon has to follow through with Makoto's movement. And Talon, again, their map is just empty. No outer towers left. Look at the wards here from RSG watching every entry point the Talon might want to go to for farm. It's just not safe for them to dip out. They are trying, though, walking up onto MKS, and they spot the Courier of KP grabbing a cheeky little point booster, as he will have his second Ags. So I guess we'll see who it goes to. It should be Savage. There's an argument to be made for maybe Hyde for the spit out, but it doesn't feel particularly amazing. I'm still curious about the mindset of this draft, because it doesn't feel like you have the biggest Ags to build into it. You know, it's not like what we used to see with Gyrocopter Alk and you gift Ags. It is on Savage, so you've got the AoE, Time Walk, Stun at the very least with Time Lock. I think that makes a big difference.
I think it makes enough sense because you have the rewind. So for like high ground defense for Savage, like at least he can kind of just jump in, stun, and just jump back out and just chip away at the side of RSG. But right now they need to find a way to counter out this Roshan, because RSG, they're just getting away with it for free right now. As well, Talon, they are around the area, but I don't think they're confident they can actually fight back here in this Roshan pit. And it's gone anyway. MKS able to take the Aegis and the shards for himself. And with that, Talon, they're sticking around, they're thinking about a fight, but I think they're forced to try and go high ground.
Yeah, they have high ground defense with Savage, but yeah, there's so much pressure on our Void in this game, or Face's Void, to get the Chronos. Whereas last time you always had, say, the backup plan of Enigma Black Hole to play with.
Mid lane?
You don't.
No damage.
Dire's bottom tower is
Can't really do anything. Xiao Yu almost finds it. Problem is, bot tier 3 is being forced in here. Talon have to try and respond. They'll make the jump in, but there's your Gleipnir around onto Makoto. He'll use it off into the Golem, though, into the Blood Right. Makoto, he's in big trouble. He's going to go down. MKS, a great start to the fight. Now the chrono out, but it's only caught really the targets they can't even kill right now. They can't kill him. They don't have the damage. Q's gonna drop. KP's gonna show up on the Alchemist, but he kind of does nothing on this hero. Savage, he can time walk all he likes, but it's not helping the cause. In fact, he's been caught out and taken down. RSG, here come the voice lines. It's their turn. And Talon, John, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think they have much of a chance in this game. 2 left. It's looking very over to me.
Yeah, they don't really have any fight angles. They're lacking some damage. They have some control, but no follow-up for it. In RSG, they just play this really aggressive game, start to get really great starts even from the laning phase. Like, MKS was just pretty much uncontested in the Bloodseeker. Alchemist can't really do much to stop that. You have the 2 Ags gifted out. It just doesn't do much. Right, like it's just not major upgrades that feels like they can really play with outside of Mikado's, which gave them some early momentum, but again, not quite enough. RSG onto the tier 2s, might find more.
Set up again. Gleipnir gonna lock him down. Mikoto at least gonna be able to Yule Scepter it off. Can they punish? Maybe Talon can. They're moving in. Savage, no chrono available, is reliant on the Aghanim Scepter. This Q does drop. He will buy back. Try and prepare for some kind of punishment. Though KB now gonna stun himself out into a Rupture, into the Blood Ride. There goes your Alchemist. He does have buyback. In goes Savage with his BKB up, but it's not gonna help him out. So MKS just kind of kites him away. XE learn. I mean, he's dropping low on the puck, but not quite low enough. He's still looking very comfortable. Now RSG, with the AoE Shadow Word heal coming out, they might just go for the 3rd lane of Barracks.
They've got room for it. Chrono is still half a minute away, so it's still a lot of waiting here Talon has to do it in order to find that angle, and I just honestly don't know what you do. You lack damage, you don't even have the BKB up in Q, even if it is up at this point, it just doesn't feel like it's enough.
Roll in. They're trying to get the first life at least. MKS about to drop and eventually will. Q, he does get stunned up. A very nice Curse Crown into a 3-man terrorize. Zhao Pog Pog, he's at it again. He's found everything. Oh, RSG. That's it, Talon. They've seen enough. They'll call the GG. And they come back with a vengeance for game number 2 here against Talon. And Jonathan, I mean, let me be frank. I think Talon with their draft, it looked a bit memey. It was a little bit greedy. And maybe just a little bit too overly confident. And RSG, they heavily punish Talon for that.
And they managed to come in with a great draft. They go back to that Bloodseeker of MKS. Play a really great game. Much better tempo coming out here from RSG. And Talon, I mean, they went ultra greedy. Alchemist offlane for KP, kind of revisiting his SMG days. We expected it with something like the Venge, maybe even Snapfire Alch could have been aggressive, right? Unstable Concoction max out, value point and Acid Spray minus armor. Damage is pretty good, but they went with that really passive Ags build-up game. Double Ags came out, just didn't do anything. And Talon lost a lot of ground, no team fights. RSG had a lot more in their lineup to force those 5-man group ups, and Talon had nothing to face off against that.
Well, look on the bright side, John. Talon wasn't the only team that lost game number 2. Of course, the team of Sheepo and Gods, who rudely assumed I was going to be wrong here with my prediction, were wrong once again, Jonathan. So there you go. You're all losers together. In fact, you're part of the group too, John. It's a group of 3 of you. What a team. With that, we're going to head off to a very short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with game number 3 with our lovely panel for our draft. We'll see you then.